just for fun, I'm going to take the valve covers off. I don't think it should be too bad under there. They've been on there. There's animals living on this. It's kind of sludgy. Again, it's probably a lost cause, but we'll see what we can do. I need to remove that AC compressor in order to get that other one off. Alright, first side is out, driver's side, and they're better than I thought they were going to be. I was expecting something along these lines on the plugs, but this is from the front back, and of course this back one's going to be worse. It was closer to the opening. It's better. There's a small tiny little glimmer of hope for this engine. We'll see. We're getting lucky. I shouldn't say that. It's probably too early to call, but look at these plugs. I mean, they don't look like Titanic. So, again, maybe the story that the guy told me was true, that they really came off in order to put the intake in a carb on a different car, and it was a running car at that point. I don't know. But so far, we're looking okay. One thing I'm going to do next is probably take the fan off the front and then see if I can't get a breaker bar on it and see if it will just budge a little bit. I'm also going to soak the cylinders, and if I can get it to move, then just maybe we'll try to make it run. Here's the moment of truth. Oh, it moved. Alright, our lifter's starting to move. Looks like maybe. I still think we need to soak all this stuff down, but it does move. Okay, so it moves. That's a good sign. Let's lift it up and drain the oil and see what's in the cylinders. Alright, I've looked under this car before. Never actually been under this car before. It does have quite a bit of surface rust, which makes sense considering it's been sitting for a long time. But even so, there's no rot or anything like that. The frame looks really good. That's all just paint on the side. But what we're going to focus on is going to be this engine. Again, it's numbers matching. It still has all the original spark plug stuff on it. I kind of want to drop the oil pan because with that dropped, I can make sure there's no crap from the intake being open inside of it. Looks like all I'd have to do is drop the connection for the idler arm, and then everything should kind of fall down and let me be able to get the pan. But I did pull the dipstick. There is oil in it. But again, who knows how much and who knows what. Purolator oil filter, PER49. See how old that is? That's old. Let's go ahead and drain the oil, see what it looks like. Alright, I'm expecting water. I'm expecting leaves. Or there could be a whole lot of nothing. Oh, there's a tiny bit of water. But mostly really nasty, nasty oil. It's just nasty, nasty. There was a tiny, 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 tiny bit of water right at the very beginning. But really not much. Which is good. It's better than the other Corvette that I took 4 gallons of water out of the engine. So there's still maybe a hope for this one. We'll see how much comes out. I'm still going though. I've had to do this a lot recently. But it works. Jeez. Flywheel cover gone. All the bolts for the oil pan are off. Let's see how easy or how hard this is gonna be to drop. So far, hard. Okay. Well, maybe dropping that link wasn't enough to get this pan off. I'm gonna have to get up on there and take that, spin that a little bit so I can get it off. But it should come out once I do that. Well, we're not getting a full rotation, and because of that, I can't get this thing off. Oh, there we go. Okay. Wow. All right, check out in here. Check out in this pan. It's nasty. All kinds of nasty sludge and stuff in there. And all the little animal poops sitting on top of the oil pump pickup. Other than there's a little bit of rust on this part of the crank right here. Other than that, they all are about even. I think this engine will run as long as the cylinders look okay. Something I need to do though, is I need to clean out basically where all the oil drops back down. There's all kinds of nasty up in here. But it looks better than I thought. There's a lot less. I thought there'd be leaves and all kinds of stuff in here. It doesn't look like there's much of that, so that's good. Saw it, the inside of all the cylinders, they look great. They're way better than I could imagine. The only rust we really have is up on top of the valves. So what we're going to do is we're going to check out for stuck valves. That's the main issue I feel like that we're going to have, is we're going to have valves that are stuck open or stuck shut just because they did have water sitting on top of them. And then I think it's time we buy gaskets and we can buy oil, and I already have another intake for it. But we can start putting it back together in hopes that it will run. So oil pan gasket, we're going to do intake gasket, valve cover gasket, carburetor gasket. I have valve covers, I have an intake, and I have a carburetor and a distributor for it. So really it's just gaskets and oil that I'm buying. So fingers crossed it'll run. But what I want to do is I want to put some oil in the cylinders, and then I want to spin it over by hand a couple of times, wash the valves, make sure nothing's getting stuck. Because it was a little bit sticky when I was wrenching on it with the tool. You could kind of hear pop every once in a while, so we'll see what happens. So while I'm waiting on parts, we can start getting everything soaking. One of the things that obviously needs done is I have a bottle of oil, and we're going to soak all the upper the upper engine parts since they've been exposed to weather for who knows how long. So before I do this, let me move the cardboard underneath it. That way it'll at least drip on that. Eventually all this oil will make it down onto the floor, but I'd rather do it now than do it with the oil pan on where it can't make its way out, because it's going to be carrying trash and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you can hear it already hitting the ground. And I don't think I have a pan big enough to hold all this. Probably that lubes up the lifters a little bit. I'm also going to pour a little bit on the tops of the valves. See if we can't get that, or in the valves, can't get that all freed up and moving by hand a little bit better. Alright, Summit delivered a huge box, which is completely unnecessary. But we have oil, we have an oil filter. Deep in here I have got a fuel pump and thermostat. Those are just in case parts, but the main part I want to show is I got a full engine, basically seal kit. We're going to use all of it, so here it is. Now the one that I have already used is the oil pan gaskets. We got the oil pan back up in here. I cleaned out the pickup, which was full of crap. I cleaned out the oil pan, which was full of sludge, and now it's all back together. You can't really get away with not resealing the oil pan. The stuff that came off, I mean, they were just basically fell apart. You can see this is what was on there. I mean, yeah, it's just garbage. So I didn't replace the pan because this engine could be crap and there's no point in putting a brand new pan or spending the time to clean that pan up and make it pretty. People always get on me and say, why didn't you paint whatever part you took off? Well, look at the rest of the car, guys. Look at it. I'm really going to put a brand new, beautiful painted pan, spend 3 hours doing that just to have the engine knock. You got to take it out anyway. But anyway, I digress. We are going to now prime the engine, and we are going to see if we can get oil coming out of every single lifter up top. This oil was like $12 at Summit. I mean, it's 1030, it's semi-synthetic, synthetic I guess, but it'll work just fine for what we need to do. I'm not going to dump $40 of oil into an engine I don't know anything about. So what we want to do is make sure we get oil pretty much on every lifter, every return, all the cam, all that stuff. To begin, whenever you fill a engine full of oil through the valve cover, this is where it goes. That's how it makes its way down to the bottom. Oil pump. So here's my basic setup. You guys have seen this tool before. I love it. I use it a lot more than I thought I ever would. Basically, I took a Sawzall and cut the back of an intake off that wasn't any good. It was cracked. So I use it for this. So what we're going to do, we're going to spin it and wait for oil to come out on one of these rocker arms, and we're going to spin the motor basically, I don't know, 1/4 turn, and then do it again over and over and over until we have oil coming out from everywhere. That's alright, I think I've gone around at least twice and I got oil out of pretty much every single one. The only ones I haven't have been this one and this one, and they're kind of spitting air, spitting a little bit of oil. It's coming up, so I think I'm gonna go around one more time and then we can go ahead and bolt some parts on and see what happens, see where we're at. But I mean, I can hear oil bubbling, I can hear air getting pushed out, and this other side is actually in really good shape. This one actually got oil a lot faster than the driver's side, but I mean, you can see all kinds of oil. So the one thing I do know is that these lifters have to spin in order to get oil, and I don't think all of them are spinning. So hopefully with some heat that will end up getting being able to spin so we can get oil everywhere else. But I'm gonna go ahead and put on my fancy valve covers, and I'm also going to start cleaning for the intake. Painted carburetors made a comeback. I have the distributor put in. There was a distributor in the back of the car. I put new points in it, a used coil out of my parts, and now I put a battery in it, and we're gonna see if this car will actually spin over by itself. If you look at these battery terminals, they're really crappy, so there's a possibility that they won't work. They need replaced, at least the ends do. But let's see what this will do. Alright, the ignition turns on. Adjust. But it sounds okay. It sounds okay. I put all the spark plugs in it, so it's got compression. It doesn't sound like it doesn't. So what we can do, let's test for spark and then see if we have any kind of ignition at all. So we can kind of sit that right here and see if it will arc. The starter sounds awful, but you know what? It's been a long time since this thing has moved. Yep, there's spark. There's lots of spark, that's good. Alright, let's plug her in. Notice I don't have the coil attached to anything yet, but we'll get there when we get there. And let's get some explosion juice and see what happens. We're just going to do a quick test with some carb cleaner. It says it's flammable. Sometimes this stuff isn't. See what happens. I don't know if that's spinning fast enough to actually light. Alright, we're going to try it again. I have real gasoline in it now. It doesn't seem like it's spinning fast enough to do anything. So if you have a keen eye, you'll notice in this video that it is winter time as I'm working on this Corvette wide body, and as of posting it's July, so there's been a very large time period in between when the video was recorded and when I'm putting it out. So whenever I get a car, no matter what it is, as long as it's not a parts car, I'll put it up for sale as is. If it doesn't sell within a month or so, then I'll start working on it, make it a little bit better, and then try to sell it that way. When it came to this car, it's basically what happened is I had it up for sale, wasn't selling. I put the intake on it, put the carburetor on it, and then it sold like the next day. And then I was like, well, that's gonna make a really crappy video that, you know, you're gonna watch 25 minutes of me trying to get this car started, and then I'm gonna be like, hey, it sold, sorry, awkward. But I have something for you guys. The car's actually back up for sale from the guy that I sold it to. So in the description below, I'll put a link to that Facebook ad. I mean, the same car is there, and he said he got it to run. What he did, I have no idea. Honestly, I don't know if there was enough compression on that engine to make it run. It wasn't the carburetor, and it wasn't spark. Maybe I messed up installing the distributor. I don't think so. I've done that many times, but I mean, it's for sale now. You could buy it. So go look on Facebook. Anyway, so shop update. The shop is getting spray foam today. I got the floor done, and then soon I'm going to be taking all my stuff from this shop and putting it in the new shop. So that's why there really hasn't been much videos on the channel lately, is because I had to fix the house that we're selling, and then I have to build the other shop, and then, I mean, we have to move all our crap, and I had 25 parts cars to move, and blah, blah, blah. And there's all kinds of stuff that I had to do, and sorry, I couldn't make videos. So here soon I will be completely shopless because I'll be in the middle of moving one shop to the other shop. As you can see, my license plate wall is all bare and gone, so I started boxing stuff up. Soon my Corvette will go and live at the other shop. A lot of people have asked me about this car right here, the Big Block 73. That is not my car. This is someone else's car, so no, I cannot sell it to you. But we decided it needs an engine, so rather than pull the engine apart and have it strewn all down the side of my garage, we're going to keep it together for now so it can go to the other shop, and then I can continue working on it. And here's a quick view of my mother-in-law's C5, which I don't know if I'll make videos on that. But the shop's looking kind of bare. I've started taking stuff down, and then here in this next week we're going to start moving out. So I kind of feel like Gas Monkey Garage back in the day when they started with the little shop and went to the big shop. I'm not going to sell it like them, don't worry. I'm not, you know, nobody sponsors me or anything, and all the money from the shop is coming out of my pocket, so I'm not getting that for free. But I'm hoping that here soon, probably in the next few months, that we'll have videos back again like I used to, just because I'll be back to working on cars every day. I'll be back to making videos every day, and less fixing houses and preparing properties and building shops, you know, that kind of stuff. So I know this video kind of ended abruptly and was kind of awkward, but you know, I figure it's better than no video. And sometimes that's what happens when you have an old car and you try to get it to run. It doesn't want to do it, and you have to replace, you know, more than just an intake, a distributor, and the carburetor like they say on TV. So anyway, subscribe, like, you know, all the fun stuff, and I will have more videos out soon, I promise.